Hey, I'm Tyler Hoyt, and welcome to Built Different. Every week, I sit down and share the conversations, patterns, and lessons I'm seeing after talking to hundreds of contractors all across the country. And this isn't another marketing podcast. It's about building a better business, becoming a better leader, and creating a life that's worth all the hard work. So grab your coffee or whatever you're drinking, and let's get into it. Y'all, July has been an absolute grind for us, and I've been having a ton of conversations in July. Really, really good conversations with a lot of good contractors. Super productive. But I want to talk about some conversations I had this week. And honestly, a lot of the conversations are starting to sound very, very similar with guys that I talked to. We're getting into late July, almost August. The season is in an interesting spot where referrals start to slow down a little bit. Guys start to get a little worried. But the market actually starts to pick up in August from what I've seen in the last 4 years. But let's talk about a conversation I had this week. And so I had a few conversations actually this week that sound like this, but I'm going to pinpoint one for you guys. And so I get on a call with a guy, and he has a great company, good reputation again. They're busy enough at this point. But he comes in, and I think he's starting to see the end of like his referrals and the end of like, I'm only booked out another month here. I think he's starting to see the writing on the wall. And so he tells me like, Tyler, I think I just need more leads. And so I just asked him, how many? And he kind of laughed and said, I don't know. And so, this is the point when a lot of marketing agencies probably are going to start pitching you on, all right, let's turn on ads. Let's turn on, Google or Meta, or let's do this or that to start to bring in more leads in. And the problem with that is that leads probably isn't the issue. There's probably systemic issues underneath that need to be fixed. But anyway, I just asked him, what's your average job worth? Because I do things a little different. I want to know more about the business. And he said, I think around 10 grand, which is a good ballpark for outdoor living contractors. Typically what I see with a lot of referral guys is that 10 to 15 mark, right? So I said, what's your close rate? He said, not really sure. Now, he had a ballpark, right? What I see with referral guys, usually like 60-ish percent, 50 to 80%. It's a wide range depending on who you are and how good you are. But he wasn't really sure. And so I just said, all right, man, like how many jobs do you actually need every month to hit your goal? And he didn't have an answer for that one. And so what I realized in this conversation was like, this isn't just him. This is probably every contractor that I talked to. This is just the guy that I specifically wanted to highlight in this conversation. But the point being here is everybody thinks they have a lead problem when actually I think they have a clarity problem. They actually don't know what they need. It just highlights as leads because you start to see things dwelling and referrals drifting, and you start to go, oh, I need leads. And that's just what the market and social media has led you to believe has to happen in business to get work. And, the hard part is I see things from a very business perspective, right? And a lot of you guys or a lot of contractors, not that you're not business people, but you don't come from a business background, like in terms of this. And I'm not trying to offend anybody by this, but you guys come from a labor background. A lot of you guys started as laborers. You've grown your business through labor. You might have started working for somebody else and realized, hey, I could do better on my own. You might have started, an apprenticeship or whatever. But the point is you guys came up through the system of labor. And so that's always going to be where your mindset is. Like, you guys are grinders. You guys work so hard. Right. And I have so much respect for you guys of how hard you guys work and the pride you guys take in your work. But you guys work so hard trying to do everything on your own and trying to grind your way through it and like this hustle culture. And not that it's a bad thing, but I'm sure a lot of you guys don't come from corporate America. You guys don't come from business backgrounds. You don't come from running businesses. And so there's a different way to do this. And I want to dive into it with you. And it's just all about clarity. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Built Different. Every week I share the biggest lessons from the conversations I've had with contractors around the country. These aren't theories. They're not stuff I read online. These are real, genuine conversations. And this week, the biggest lesson was simple, that most contractors are trying to grow without ever defining what growth actually looks like. So I want to do something different today, and I want to show you something that I made that I think will help give you guys a little more clarity into my way of thinking. So I built this Contractor Growth Blueprint, and so really what it is an illustration and visual on what I see the current state of a lot of businesses being, and this might not be you, but it might be similar. I think it's applicable for every single person, right? But it's the current state of what I see most businesses in versus what we need to consider as a goal state for us. And this is going to be different for every single business. No two businesses are the same. I'm giving you an example, a general example here of what I see and what a typical goal would look like. But in this example, the goal is 1.5 million. That might not be your goal, right? And so we have to consider that too. We could make this for any business, but I want to give you guys examples, and I want to break this down a little bit for you. All right, so let's pretend this is your business here on the left where it says current state. And again, this is my experience based on the people that I've talked to over the last 4 years, mostly referral-based companies. Again, this could differ based on who you are, what your situation looks like, but I want to give you guys a general outlook on what I see typically. And so would your business look something like this? Maybe $600,000 in revenue, about 8 leads a month. Most of the work is coming from referrals. Okay, but you're the salesperson, right? You're the admin, you're the estimator, you're solving the problems, you're answering the phone, you're putting out the fires. And maybe you've got a couple crews, right? And maybe you have an office admin. Most of the time it's probably your wife, and that's a whole different story because I don't even want to dive into it on this podcast. We had this conversation the other day. Maybe I'll do another podcast on it. But at the end of the day, everything still runs through you. And how familiar does this sound? I talk to guys every single day, guys. I'm burnt out. I'm running around. I'm crazy. I can't get to the leads. I can't keep up with them. I can't answer the phones. I can't do social media posts. I can't do any of this stuff because they are doing every single thing in the business. And this is very, very, very common. And so here's what's interesting. This is almost everybody I talk to. And if this is you, you're not doing anything wrong. Okay, again, said this earlier. Most of you guys have grown up in the business as laborers, as contractors, as grinders. Like you guys work. Like I said, I really love that and respect that about you guys. And there's nothing wrong with where you're at here. Right? The fact is you probably built a really good business. Here's the problem. It's really, really hard to scale something that's built entirely around you and has zero predictability. Notice that I have no metrics on this stuff. Here's the thing I wish more contractors said, and you know what almost nobody says, is Tyler, here's exactly what I want my business to look like 3 years from now. Instead they say, I want more leads. But what if we had more leads? Can't we just get more leads? For what? To make another 100,000? To hit 1 million? To hire another crew? To work less? Nobody knows. And if you don't know where you're trying to go, how do you know if you're winning? How do you measure that? Every day just becomes the same. And so this is how we build a plan. This is the conversation we have with every contractor. Forget marketing for a second. Let's start with the end. I know where you're at already based on your current state. I want to know where you want to go. And nobody considers this. Everybody goes from here to, oh, let's plug in all these systems to try to go somewhere. You got to know where you're going. And so this is how we start every conversation with every single contractor. How much revenue do you actually want? Let's say you want 1.5 million. Cool. Now let's reverse engineer it. What's your average job size? Okay, 15,000. How many jobs do you need per month? 12 to 15. Awesome. What's your close rate? 42%. With our system, this is usually what it gets to. What has to happen every single month? Oh, we got to get 29 to 36 leads. I got to get 12 to 15 jobs at an average ticket of 15,000 to make $125,000 that month. If I do that over 12 months on average, I'm going to hit $1.5 million. On our marketing side, we look at cost per lead. We look at how much we have to spend. Look at your gross margin. Notice what we didn't do. We didn't start with Facebook ads. We didn't start with SEO. We started with the destination. We started with where you want to get to. You want to do $1.5 million and you want to spend 10 to 25 hours a week doing it. That's a destination. We could work with that. We can build a plan that does that. Marketing is just one of the vehicles that gets you there. And here's where most people get stuck. And this is where most contractors get frustrated. Is they start throwing money around at marketing. What typically happens, and it's happening right now at this point in the season, is referrals die out, because they will. Every single year it happens. Maybe not for everybody, and if this is not the case for you, I'm obviously not speaking to you. But this is going to happen for a majority of contractors every single season, no matter the industry. Referrals will start to dry up and run out. And what you're going to do is you're going to go looking for solutions to that. And it's going to be, I need leads, I need leads, I need leads. And so you're going to start throwing money at random ass marketing. Angie's Leads, Home Advisor. You're going to try to do Google yourself. You're going to try to do Facebook yourself. You're going to hire a cheap agency to do AI stuff for you. You're going to throw up yard signs. You're going to go to home shows. You're going to do SEO. You're going to do LSAs. The problem is none of those actually fix the business. Not a single one. And so imagine pouring water into a bucket with a bunch of holes in it. More water isn't the answer to fill that bucket. You got to fix the holes. So when I'm on a strategy call, these are the things I'm actually looking for. Is the lead flow inconsistent? Does every sale depend on the owner? Is there a CRM? Is there a follow-up system? No hiring process? No systems in place? No SOPs? The owner is picking up the phone, answering every call, trying to move things in the CRM, and trying to be out the field, and trying to be the foreman, and trying to be the salesperson. Zero systems in here. Do they have a marketing system installed? And actually a good marketing system that's predictable. And here's the truth. Is marketing usually is not the bottleneck. The business is. And I hate to say it, and this is nothing personal to contractors. I understand where you guys came from. I understand where you guys got your work ethic from and how you guys think. I get it. I grew up the son of somebody that did this, right? And so there's always an owner in the business that becomes the bottleneck because they are the one that tries to do everything and control everything. And if we don't fix the bottleneck, more leads will just create more chaos. If I brought you 50 more leads and you had no admin in the office to answer the phone, no trained admin to answer the phone, to do discovery, to book you sales meetings, more leads isn't going to fix that. If I got you 100 more leads, but you're in the field all the time and can't get to them, nothing's going to fix that. If I got you more leads, but you have zero clarity and vision into your metrics on close rate and where things are coming from and tracking, that more leads is not going to fix that. It's just going to create more chaos, and ultimately you're going to waste money. And here's something I've noticed. Nobody actually wants $1 million business or a $2 million business or a $3 million business. Not really, not in the way that we're superficially stating that right now. What they actually want is what they think $1 million, $2 million, $3 million business gives them. More freedom, more time with family, the ability to control their own schedule, the ability to control their own fate, less stress, more vacations, being able to stop answering their phone every single Saturday and Sunday while they're trying to spend time with their family and just decompress from work. That's the dream. Revenue is literally just the scoreboard. Now this box right here, this might be my favorite part. Because I don't care if your business doubles. If you're still working 60 or 80 hours a week, you didn't do anything. You didn't build freedom. You literally just built a bigger prison and a harder one to manage. So eventually, Every contractor hits the same ceiling. You can't estimate faster. You can't answer more calls. You can't physically do more. And the only way through this is systems. That's why we talk about things like CRMs and admin and sales processes and hiring and automation and follow-up and lead gen. They're not separate things. They're all part of the same growth engine, and you should invest in all of them as part of the same growth engine because they get you from point A to point B. And here's the craziest part, guys, is that most people stay stuck in this spot right here for a long time. And now, could somebody get from 600,000 to $1 million off referrals? Yes, it might take 3-4 years. Here's the craziest part, is most people, they think, I'm saving money by not doing these things, by doing it myself, by controlling everything, I'm saving money. When we look at the math, that is not the reality. When we look at the math and you start installing systems, right? You start installing VA admins to answer the phones, to do your discovery. You start installing actual marketing systems. You start investing real money into marketing. You start investing real money into sales processes that track everything so you know where everything's coming from. You start investing money into real sales reps and foremen and people that you can rely on to do the things that you used to do yourself and wear every hat. Your operating profit increases. So you actually make more money and you spend less time doing it when you actually invest in these systems. Isn't that crazy? You can go from operating profit at $12,000, spending 60 to 80 hours a week on work, doing everything yourself with a small team, you and maybe a couple people on your crew. And when you invest in systems, and I'm talking real systems, I'm talking you're spending $77,000 a month on systems, at least. You have a 10% sales rep in there. You add more production crews, and this is still a lean team, but you have a sales rep, you have admin in place, you have project managers. Your team size gets a little bigger. This is still extremely lean, but what happens is you start spending less time. Now you're spending 10 to 25 hours a week as a CEO operating the business, owning the business, and you make more doing it. So here's my challenge for you. Pause this video, take a screenshot of this blueprint, look at the left side, and how much of that describes your business today. And then look at the goal state on the right. Is that actually where you want to go? And finally, look at the bottlenecks in the top right. And be honest, what's the one thing holding your business back right now? Because here's what I've learned after talking to contractors every single week. The businesses that grow the fastest aren't always the best builders. They're the business owners who stop guessing, who have clarity, start measuring, start investing, and build their business with absolute intention. So guys, if you realize you need help building this roadmap, I'm going to put a link down below in the description to book a free strategy growth session with our team. We're going to walk you through your blueprint together, identify the biggest bottlenecks that you have currently in the business, and create a plan to help you grow with more predictability, profit, and more freedom. I want to have more conversations around these types of things. And if you enjoyed this episode, please hit subscribe, because next week we're going to dive into another conversation with a contractor that completely changed the direction of his business. See you guys next Tuesday.